Good evening. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Jonathan Young. You know, health and fitness is my specialty. I'm switching up a little bit different today as I do every blue moon. Want to talk today about DK Metcalf. And ones of my subscribers have been with me a while know I'm a diehard Steelers fan, but I'm gonna have to call a strike. And I do feel like DK Metcalf, not just you, but many others in the past, just makes it harder and harder and harder for black people that goes through racism for real, on the job, off the job, vacations, wherever it may be. You know, Racism, it exists. It still exists. It'll never die. It'll never go away. That's just the reality of it. But for DK Metcalf to pull that race card when that incident happened to him grabbing that fan and attempting to hit him. He didn't hit him. He hit his wig, but attempting to hit him just made it that much worse. And it's something, especially in these times and days. So when it first happened, and when they first said it, I didn't believe it. Right off the bat, I did not believe it. And this is why, because you're looking at a fan, you know, anybody goes to games know if you against the other team, you're gonna say some off the wall stuff. But to just say something that loud, you know how loud those stadiums are for DK Metcalf to hear this man say something racist like that with all them other black people in that audience, nah, he wouldn't dare do that. I don't know no fool to do that. With all the technology today too, mics and recordings, no, DK just lost his head for whatever reason, and he did the food. I never been a DK Metcalf fan. I always thought he was super zesty, and on some real feminine type stuff, you know, but nothing against somebody, a male that's like that openly. But when you low key trying to be masculine and do something else, and trying to hide, be undercover, that's what I'm talking about. But I've never been a fan of him. I don't hate him or nothing. And when I speak of hate, it's just like in the sports game, like, oh man, I hate him because he's so good. I hated Tom Brady because he was so good. We couldn't beat him. Steelers couldn't beat him. But it wasn't no personal hate. It was just for us the game. So again, I was never no fan of him. When we got him, I was somewhat, I wasn't happy or sad. But we already had George Pickens, but it was a pickup. So, and now that he's become a Steeler, I see what the Seahawks fans were talking about. He's just a diva, and now you done lost over $500,000 because of your temper tantrum. Regardless of what anybody says, you got to learn to control yourself. And controlling yourself, I feel like it always goes back how you was raised, your upbringing. Now, you don't supposed to like your real name. I know plenty of people done changed their names. And of course, I'm a correction officer for 15 years. It's a lot of inmates that go get locked up and they change their name. It doesn't cost much to get your name changed, if that's the case. But DK Metcalf, man, you just got to be the donkey of the year. You went out like this, man, and we have 2 games left, which in some people look at he ain't been doing it anyway, but yeah, he's a decoy. I mean, not even a decoy. All the attention goes to him. So now they ain't got to worry about no attention going to him. And then I think Calvin Austin may be hurt. So it's just gonna have to be a lot of guys gonna have to step up. And for the ones who want to say, well, you ain't never been in that situation. You never been. Of course, I have been in that situation at a very young age. And I remember it just like it was yesterday. I was 16 or 17 years old. I was an employee at Kroger's. I worked at Kroger's all through my high school year from ninth grade until I got out of school. I worked for Kroger's. I was a cashier, I did it all, whatever. But long story short, this is a true story, so I'm not worried about no defamation because it's documents of this because it went to the union. And I have witnesses, and I can say his full name and everything, so it's nothing. But when I was working at Kroger's in high school, It was a guy by the name of Dennis King. He was my classmate. Now I knew Dennis was special. You know, he was in special education. He was in resource classes. He was in it all his life. So, but you know, Dennis just he had enough sense. You know, things what to say and what not to say. But I feel like he came to me with this so-called joke because we had this one black guy that was in our class, and he was kind of somewhat of us in the black community would call a coon, a sambo. So he was kind of like that. We would put him in that category. But long story short, the guy was dust mopping the floor. He was dust mopping the floor. No, I think I was dust mopping the floor. I think, but somehow my hand got in the broom. But I'm gonna tell you about it. So he said, "Hey man, you want to see my hunting license?" I'm looking at this dude. No, I don't want to see your hunting license. You know, I don't care nothing about hunting. You know, so we kept on going through the day. Hey man, you want to see my hunting license? He asked me that at least 3 times that day. Then finally, I just gave in when I was right there about the dairy aisle. I think I had a dust mop in my hand, and I said, "Yeah, man, show me your hunting license. Show me your hunting license." So he opened his wallet up and he pulled out this card. It looked like a real license. And on the card it said a license to kill a nigger, and it had a black man with a noose around his neck hanging. This is a certified official license to kill a nigga. And I couldn't believe he just showed me this. And I looked up at him and I dropped the card. And he's sitting there laughing like it was a joke. So I stepped, cause I know it was on the dairy aisle because it was an ice cream shelf right there. And I grabbed the broom and it was a white lady by the name of Sherry Sybills. And Sherry, she just said, "No, Jonathan," because everybody know my composure, pretty much was the same. Nobody never seen me angry. She could see that I was angry about something. She saw I was going for that broom. And she said, "No, Jonathan." But I went for the broom and I didn't hit him. I didn't even, she just said, "No, Jonathan." She came between us. And to be honest, I don't even think I was going to hit him. I went for the dust mop. If anything, I probably would have scared him. But I just dust mopped away. And of course, it got reported. And we went through all the proper procedures that the stores, policies have us to go through. And it was a lady there with me. She was more mad than me probably, and she was just really really upset about it. She was trying to get that man a job, which he should have been terminated. But I'm from a small town in Arkansas called Hamburg, and Hamburg is a racist city. I'm calling it what it is. It's racist. It's racist all down here, southeast Arkansas. But it's nothing new. It's something that we go through. So long story short, they suspended him, and I had the union coming down speaking with me, people from Little Rock, and I think a guy like from West Memphis or somewhere. He kept coming down, asking me questions, asking me was I okay. I guess they just wanted to make sure I wasn't gonna sue or something. But I told my parents about it. My parents, of course, my mom was upset. I remember I don't recall, exactly what he said to me afterwards. I don't know if he spoke to me after that or he apologized. I know he apologized to the lady, Miss Laura, that was more upset about it. She was a manager of the store over the produce. But and I bring that story up to show people, and sometimes, man, words. And I teach my kids this. Words, man. Words, they are important, but at the same time, if somebody's talking about you, disrespecting you with words, saying stuff that you know is not true, why get mad about it? Why get mad? As long as nobody puts your hands on you, then you don't react. But if somebody puts your hands on you, you do everything in your power to make sure that they never put their hands on you ever again. They gonna think twice, 3 times before they do it. So with DK Metcalf, man, that was really bogus to use that race card for everything that Malcolm died for him. Martin Luther King, everything that Marcus Garvey pushed, and all this, for you to do that. And it goes both ways. I know we know the history of, women lying on black men saying they was raped, and all the black men that was executed, killed, hung, lynched, all the above, all the lies. So, you can't make a lie for a lie. And, anybody that knows me, only thing I hate more than a lie is a thief. Once you lie to me, it's hard to regain my trust. And anybody that's close to me knows that. And that's why my circle is small. I don't even have a circle. I'm selective who I let close to me. Of course, for my occupation, I have to communicate on my job to be an effective employee. But other than that, when I'm off duty, I'm very antisocial. I don't allow people, come over my house kicking or none of that. I don't do no kicking it anyway. This my kicking it here. Just got through getting a little workout in while it's a little warm outside in December. But again, DK Metcalf, man, I hope this is a valuable lesson. And it's not just you. Years ago when Myles Garrett said Mason Rudolph called him a nigga, the N-word. I hope I don't get a strike for saying this word on here, but I'm just saying it like it is. But I didn't believe Myles Garrett, and nobody did, because nobody heard nothing. You right there on the football field with, I'll say, what, 79 to 85% of the people on the field playing are black, and you think this man gonna say the N-word? Come on, man. I mean, come on, get real. But again, man, DK, I just hope you get it together. Still, we got 2 more games left, and I hope we can get at least one of them to get in the playoffs. And then you can come back and try to redeem yourself, man. We don't, as black people, we don't need to go that route line. We go through this racist stuff anyway. So when you bring it up, it's gonna be that one person. I always say, "Oh, you pulling a race card? They don't believe you," and they got a right to believe that. Cause look at the things that y'all doing, man. Just like we got a right to believe when a woman say, "Oh, he raped me" and all this and that. Hey, we got a right to believe. It may be fabricated. It's a possibility because history shows that. But again, y'all, I'm finna get in here and get my meal in after this workout. Whatever you believe in, I hope y'all have a safe, Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, whatever it may be that you believe in. Y'all do it safe. And y'all stay fit, y'all stay focused. And don't wait till the New Year's. It's a couple more days this year. Don't wait till the New Year's to make a New Year resolution. Not just fitness journey, but anything. Whatever you want to do, don't do no New Year resolution. Just do it then. Because if you just do it then, you have that desire to do it then and change, it's most likely a better chance of you doing it than wait till a certain date. Then if you fail that certain date, you're going to feel like, oh, I got to wait a whole another 365 days, another year, to start a New Year resolution. A lot of people use that as an excuse. But no excuses here. Y'all stay fit, y'all stay focused, y'all stay disciplined. Peace out. Still a nation. All right.